Everyone thinks that pouring concrete countertops is the hard part. Yes, it does have its challenges. It wasn't actually the concrete that made this difficult.
What else are you supposed to do?
This was probably the most difficult part of all 3 of my concrete pours in this kitchen renovation, and I'm here today to show you every single thing that I did to make it successful. And I will help you save over $5,000. I needed this sink to sit underneath the concrete because I feel like it levels up the design of a kitchen when you don't see the 3-inch trim around it. I also needed it to hold the weight of water and dishes, function as a sink, but structurally not crack the concrete. I genuinely did not know how I was going to make this work, and that's actually why I did the concrete island first, because it had all 4 sides exposed, and I didn't have to get into this tricky sink business, but eventually it led me to here, and I did have to finish the project. I saw a few different contraptions that you could buy on Amazon that essentially hold up your undermount sink and it's screwed to the cabinet. Still didn't trust it. This is a heavy sink and the water's going to be heavy. Then I thought, why not use plywood? Although you now have to take into consideration that you are adding 3/4 on top of your cabinet, so they're no longer standard, and that's going to mess with your stove height or any other appliances you have. But I'll get into that in just a few minutes. I'm going to show you can still do it and then also have everything flow really well. It's also not just as simple as cutting a hole, and I found that out pretty quickly.
Will allow me to drop the sink in, and then I can cement board over top.
Your sink will come with a template and you have to cut it out. Do not skip this. I've seen people measure the sink directly. This will give you the exact dimensions and trace it onto your plywood. I marked center with the window because, like all of my videos, I am teaching you how to make sure that this looks professional and not DIY. And the number one thing that will give it away is if things aren't planned out properly and things aren't centered. I cut that with my jigsaw and then I screwed it down, only to find out dropping the sink in did not work. What? The template, it's supposed to work. No. You also have to figure out where the hooks up and under the sink are. They have to be cut out of the plywood as well. That way you can get up from underneath and secure it. I'll show you. It's actually these little annoying guys here. They're not marked on the template. We're undermounting, and this will allow us to go underneath the cabinet and screw it up later to secure it, and then your sink's not just floating. Now I'm gonna go ahead and cut my cement board and get this and this ready to pour. Just use an X-Acto knife and a straight edge and cut all of the pieces that mirror the exact same pieces of the plywood. Everything was going great, and then came the scariest part of all. The Z concrete forms come with this flexible piece that goes inside the sink. It gets taped on, it has adhesive already on it, and you have to level it out. Then I learned that you use a block. I will show you how to do that in 1 second. I have to get the rest of the form on. But this is the game changer of your sink install.
The same way they have this form here that goes on the front, they actually also have one that goes on the back. It's the exact height of this, but you obviously don't need a lip on the back. They've thought of everything.
I got the 4 perimeter pieces screwed down, and then I just used tuck tape like the last concrete pour and sealed any gaps that might leak water just to avoid the mess. And again, another issue. But this is why I make these YouTube videos, because I'm probably going to go through it, show you what to do, what to think about before you complete your own project.
This part here was my bad. I didn't take into consideration when doing the concrete countertops that the cabinet would have had to be set back because it is quite a large overhang. So I don't have enough space in between where the stove sits. So I'm just gonna run a board right across here and actually cut the cement board back. That way cement will go right down to the plywood and then you'll never see it. That was my fault.
The reason why I didn't use one of the pieces that I have at the back is because I wanted the edge of the cement board to be completely covered, and those sit on top of it, not underneath it. That would have changed the height. The wood will just have a straight stop instead of the overhang here. And then cutting the cement back will allow the cement to have a smooth finish near the stove, not a rippled cement board. Okay, now let's get to figuring the sink. So I sat a board or a straight edge, whatever you have laying around, on the back and the front lip. And then I measured how high they are. 1.75 inches from the top of the sink. Now you have to remember the sink is about 3/8 above the cement board. So I cut a wood block at 1.75 inches.
All right. So now, I mean, this is gonna be a little tricky with just me, but they're supposed to, and I wonder if I got a heat gun. I think I will, like a little bit of heat. Okay, not a lot of heat. Let's see if I can get you in a better spot. There we go. I'm thinking that if I hit the corners with my heat gun like a little tiny bit, it'll just give it enough to bend it.
Now you're cooking with gas. Well, you're cooking with the heat gun, and it worked wonders for the corners. And I was trying to figure out where to start it. I decided to start it at the center of the sink, but like close to my belly button, because you're really never going to see if there's like a crappy line or anything there.
This is probably the most stressful part.
I love my DeWalt heat gun because there's a setting that you can click and it stays on, because otherwise you would need a third hand here. So I turned the heat gun on and I very, very carefully took the wood block and moved it along while keeping the top of that black form at the top of the wood block, and very carefully bent it into the corners. I'm speeding this up because it took a little bit of time in order to get it as tight as possible, but that's what you want. Have some patience. Be very careful, because this is what's going to make or break your sink pour. Then I had to get out my multi-tool because my sink in particular has this centerpiece that impeded on the concrete form. So 2 things: figure out if you have to do this beforehand so you're not cutting inside your sink, risking chipping it. And also, do not take the sticker, like the adhesive backing, off of this until you're literally ready to put it on, because it is so sticky. Just do a few inches at a time.
So here's a close-up. We'll get rid of this. Put my heat on, lock it in place, let it get a little warmed up. It's kind of hot on the hands. Get it as close, and then you want to bring some heat to it so you can really bend it in place. But be careful not to pull this off too early. I mean, it is slightly forgiving, so you are able to like move it a little bit. But you want to get as tight of a corner as you can. And then come over here, set your depth, and pull it off. And then stick it on. So now for this, I didn't cut it to length yet. Can you see that? Yeah. I just want to cut the notch out to make sure that I can get it. So a little bit more has to happen there. Be very careful of your sink. And now I need to cut it right here. Now I'll take the rest of that tape off and I'll line it up. And we are going to be polishing it and finishing it really nicely, so I'm not really worried about a line, and also you can't see it here. Okay, I have a bit of an issue. This side, maybe because the concrete board isn't flush all the way with the plywood, this is sagging a little bit. So I measured, and this is actually 1/4 of an inch down. So what I did was cut a piece. So I'm just gonna screw this together, and then I'm gonna bring this over here, and that will just bring up this side, like 1/4 of an inch, and then when I pour it, I'll take that out after a couple days. It'll be solid enough to take the forms off. So now that is the same height as that.
See, countertop forms suggest that you use caulking around your sink edge. Once the concrete is cured and all of your forms are off, you can just peel it out, and that's exactly what I did because I'm going to listen to them because they made the product. If you're not familiar with the company, they supply these little plastic things which are called Z-clips, and they also have the rebar mesh that gets hooked into them. It's a great system. I have a full video breakdown of exactly how to prep and pour your concrete countertop. I will link that video below. Make sure you check it out. I have so much concrete countertop footage on my channel, and I have more coming. Every single time there was an issue, I made a video about it because I want to teach you how to do it and how to get it right. One thing I did do though that is a little bit extra to beef it up, this front piece here is only 3.5, maybe 3/4 of an inch thick, and I was worried that eventually it would crack, so I did get some rebar that I had in the back of our garage and I put it in. So I used the wire mesh for the whole pour, but then I used, is it steel? Steel rebar for the front of it, just to give myself some extra security. And I bet you didn't know that I could pour concrete countertops in 30 seconds. Just kidding. Although now I feel like I'm a concrete pro because I've done 3 countertops. I've done an inset sink. I've now done stairs. I've did a stamped walkway. If you want, I built a rock. You guys, I built a rock. Did you know that? I have that on my channel too. Probably one of my coolest videos. Anyway, I poured this concrete countertop and then I realized that the edges of the sink form were slightly bowing in a little bit, like not a lot, but enough that I could probably see it later on when I took the form off. So I just cut some timber, stuck it in there, and I'll take that out once I take the forms off. You should never skip vibrating your concrete. I've seen a lot of people use sanders, but I actually like my multi-tool. I find it is a little bit more aggressive and the bubbles come right to the surface. Now, this is the same day I just showered because I was filthy, but I'm covering it in garbage bags. Someone's probably going to tell me that the black stains the concrete. It does not, but you should probably use clear poly just in case. Don't take my word for it. It didn't stain mine. I had an issue when I was doing my DIY kitchen island counter where it was really flaky once it was cured. And a lot of you told me that it was because I didn't wet cure my concrete, which means you actually cover your concrete countertop in poly for 2 to 3 days, and you can add water to the top of it, you can spritz it, but you need to keep it wet underneath that because if it dries too quickly, from my understanding, that's what causes the flaking. So that is what I did, and this time it worked out a lot better, and I didn't have any of that chipping off mess that I had with the island. Taking this off was so satisfying. And wet curing my concrete made all of the difference. There wasn't a single chip or flake or anything that happened, and I was able to buff it out very easily. I have a full video that I will link below that polishes the concrete and gives you every single detail of how to do it. I didn't put everything into one video, otherwise it would have been 2 hours of concrete footage. So you can pick and choose what it is you want to learn. I am seriously impressed with the way this sink turned out. Not impressed with the dishes in it, but absolutely impressed with the finish. You can barely see the line where the form met up. Thank you so much for watching. I am going to link my DIY concrete video as well as the stone video and all of my other things, because if you like this video, I'm pretty sure you're going to like all of the other content and whatever my project is next. Happy DIYing.